everybody. Welcome to another episode of Extroverted Introvert Experience. I'm your host, Maddie. So today's episode is going to be a very vulnerable topic. A very vulnerable topic for me. As you can see, it is darker than the last video. I'm recording this at night. My light is red. I'm wearing all black with a shirt that is like kind of spooky Halloween themed. It has ghosts on it. It's also glow in the dark. I'm a sucker for glow in the dark clothing. And yeah, so today's episode is all about my paranormal experiences and just life through my eyes in that kind of world, you know? And before y'all say anything, I know my hair might look greasy or something. I have product in my hair, okay? Your girl's hair is struggling, so I put some product in it to hopefully make it prettier. Anyway, back to our scheduled topic, paranormal experiences. It's okay if you do not believe. It's okay. Not everyone has to believe. And if you do, that's great. But this is just going to be like my insight to the world of the paranormal world. Because I do have a tie into it. And yeah. I'm not crazy, I promise. But some of y'all might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. But here we go. I rarely share this with anyone. I usually just share with people like I trust. So here we go. It all started when I was very little. In my childhood, I grew up in a house that was built in the 30s, and it had an unfinished basement. It was like concrete walls. It was in rough shape. You had like the regular living area, and then you had under the stairs and the washer and dryer, and then you had like a side room that was like half storage, and then you had like a toilet in there and a kind of a sink. It's weird. It was unfinished and weird. And then you had the back room, and I want to reference this back room a lot because that's where the main stuff happened. But I was very scared to go into this basement. I usually went by myself, right? I was okay going by myself for a while. It wasn't until I came across a shadow man that I was terrified. He lived in that back room and just like creeped me out. He was just always there. I like saw him always there. I sensed him always there. And it got to a point to where he would come into my dreams and cause nightmares. And I would have these ongoing nightmares because of this one entity. So, you have in the spiritual world, you have entities, apparitions, spirits, ghosts, all those type of words. I'm going to be using all of those. So, yes. And so, I think that is where it all started. When you are a child, you are more open to the spiritual world. Everyone has connection to the spiritual world. It's how in tune are you with that part is how much you're going to be able to see. I hope that makes sense of what I'm saying. It probably doesn't, but I hope it makes sense. Everyone has these abilities. It's just some people's abilities are more intense. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not finding the right words. But I hope you guys know what I'm saying. And if not, just tell me I'm stupid in the comments. But my childhood house is where it originated. And I still do believe that one entity does appear in my life here and there. I don't think it's consistent, but I do see him every now and then. I'm not sure if it's the same one. It feels like the same one, but I'm just not sure. Also, kind of a fun fact, but my life path number is 11, which also means the psychic. which also like very well ties into the spiritual world. So everything in my life just keeps coming back into the spiritual world and how I'm like a part of it. And I'm very excited to like keep learning about it because as we get further on into the podcast, you're going to hear about things that have experienced like growing up and even now, like today. Not today, but like nowadays, if that makes sense. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. Okay. Back onto our story time. So, yes, Shadow Man, nightmares, childhood home. I would not go into the basement alone after he became a part of my life. I always like either waited until my parents went down there or waited until my brothers went down there, but I rarely ever went down there by myself. And if I had to, like if my parents like needed something and like kept yelling at me, I would run down there as fast as I could and run back up. I would not stay down there a split second more. And I even tried to do things to like make it lighter, like adding colorful decorations or like adding more lights. Did not work. Did not work whatsoever. And as I was a child, you spend the night at your grandparents' house, right? I spent the night at my grandma's house occasionally. She lived in this older style home, and there was a downstairs and an upstairs, and it was kind of like I don't want to say it was like on a ranch, but it was on some land. Like she had a good amount of land, and this was an older house. I was very uneasy about the whole upstairs area. I never really saw anything, but I was very uneasy and I did not like being up there. The spare bedrooms were upstairs, and that's where we had the choice to sleep. But little me did not feel comfortable sleeping up there. So you know what I did? I slept downstairs in the living room right in front of the grandfather clock, which is crazy because grandfather clocks creep me out. They creep me out. So I don't know why I decided to sleep in front of the grandfather clock where it went off every 15 minutes. Crazy. Crazy. Here's where we start getting into some juicy stuff. We're hitting about, what grade was I in? Like first grade, second grade, right? So I'm like, 5 to 7 right now? My mom used to be a middle school science teacher, and she worked in this older school in my town, kind of run down because it was like kind of in the ghetto. But after school, I would always go. Oh my God, I'm getting so ahead of myself. My elementary school was right next to the middle school, and me and my brother would walk to the middle school after school ended. So I'm in the room with my mom, and I'm doing homework, probably some math homework. I remember standing at a table, and my mom was grading papers, and the hallways were dark. Everyone went home. My mom has stayed late because she just got so backed up, teachers, you get it. But it was silent. There was no music, no nothing. And all of a sudden, my mom and I hear a little girl go, "Hello?" And my mom looks up. She goes, "Why did you just say hello?" I said, "I didn't say hello. I thought you were trying to be funny and said hello." And so we went out in the hallway trying to look for someone in the hallway. Absolutely no one. We walked around, like peeked in classrooms. Absolutely no one. Sorry. I might get a little emotional during this podcast because I just can't help it. So after we checked, we went back into the classroom, and it was one of those buildings that at the windows, the blinds were like those pull down blinds, where you have to pull it down first before it'll go up. Well, they just started all of a sudden going up. All of them, like all around the room. And that's when my mom decided, I think that is a good point to stop. We're gonna go home. I said, Sounds good to me, Mom. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Sheesh. That was definitely very scary for me, and didn't know that it would affect me as much as it did, especially like telling the story now. Like, my eyes are getting watery, I'm getting chills. It's probably going to happen with every single one of these just because, like, I'm so emotional about it. Because until you experience something like this, it can be very traumatizing depending on how you act upon it and like what happens in the situation. But now we're on to around, let's see, I was in middle school. So I want to say like we're around the ages of 11 to 14 right now. I don't exactly remember my exact age, so forgive me. But there's this place called Forbes Field in Kansas, and it is kind of like a rundown military base. I think specifically Air Force. There's a like combat air museum on there. There is still a little bit of a Air Force base on there, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But there were still a lot of buildings that people just rented out for their business, right? So my dad rented out this building for his landscaping company, and it was a long building. It wasn't tall, it was long. So on the first part, you had your office looking area, and then you had about 13 bays, right? If you don't know what bays are, they're kind of just like garages. So imagine you have like 13 garages right next to each other with like just a doorway as a divider. So the first part, oh my gosh, the first part was an office. The second part was like a bigger bay that my mom used as a bait shop. And then the rest of the bays were used as storage. Sorry, it is late and I'm recording this. Sorry for the yawn, but storage for my dad's landscaping equipment. And initially, I felt uneasy about the property. I didn't know why. I was just like, something is giving me a bad vibe here. I just don't like it. But I had no say because it wasn't mine, you know? And I would help my dad doing landscaping stuff. I help both my parents, like, help their business, you know, work for them a little bit. And I would always go run and get parts for my dad, put stuff away, clean. And I was fine with most of it. But the more and more I got towards the last bay, I got very uneasy. I would like slowly walk and like look side to side and like be very aware of my surroundings. That I felt so scared, so uneasy in that building, and it was the last bay that terrified me. I couldn't go in there, not by myself. And it was the only bay that had a door. All the rest of them was like an open doorway, but this one had a door. And I don't know what it was. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm doing this all of a sudden. But yes, made me very uneasy. And I started to realize why it made me feel uneasy a little bit. It was because I started seeing the shadow man again. I don't know if it was the same one. It kind of felt the same, gave me the same vibes. I just don't know if all of them are like that though. Yeah. So I would not go to the last bay by myself. I was scared that the shadow man was following me. And on on the businesses that my parents had, of course, we had security cameras and we had door chimes. My mom also worked for my dad. So while my mom wasn't in her bait shop, she was in the office area of my dad's landscaping business. And so we would always be sitting in like the office spaces. And my mom had a chime so that if someone came in, she would go and help them. Well, that chime would go off mysteriously all the time. And there were multiple times all of us heard people saying hello. Like the chime and then immediately hello. You know that hello when you can't find a work and you're just like, "Hello? Is anyone here? Does anyone work here?" That's the type of hello we heard. At least I heard. I if I remember correctly, at least my mom heard a couple of them. I could be wrong though. I'll have to talk to her about that. But we always heard the door chime and hello, and when we went to go check to see who was there, absolutely no one. We would go back, check the security cameras. No one even pulled up to the property. No one entered, no one left. It was just us. And that was scary and weird, and also added to the reasons why I had bad vibes. Now, this next experience at this building is probably going to be one of the scariest I have ever had. So, it's late at night. I'm cleaning the windows for my mom because, I'm a good daughter and I like to help out a couple, here and there. So I'm at the front cleaning the front door glass windows. My brother just went outside to ride his bike. At night, I don't know. My brother's weird like that. So I'm cleaning the windows. And then all of a sudden, I see this apparition of a man walk across the parking lot. Like full on appear out of nowhere, is wearing like overalls with a white t-shirt and is walking across the parking lot. And I'm watching him. I'm like, where did this man come from? And then all of a sudden, just like that, disappears in midair. And I'm thinking, oh my, did that just happen? I'm thinking, this isn't real. I'm just tired. That didn't happen. I'm hallucinating. I need some sleep. School is getting to me. Then my brother comes running in. He's running in. He drops his bike. He says, did you see that? I was like, see what? Trying not to say what I saw to see if we saw the same thing. He said, it was just a man that appeared and disappeared. We saw the same thing. We talked about it. And it is unexplained of how that happened. Weird. And not too long ago, I got curious to see if I could find a picture of Forbes Field before it wasn't so run down, to see if, oh my word, to see if there were people that wore that type of clothing. I wanted to see if I recognized any of them. And unfortunately, I was not able to find anything, but I'm sure some type of mechanic or something had to wear overalls and a white t-shirt, So that is the story about the base on, we're going to call it a retired military base. This next one, we are going to be talking about just some vibes. I'm very good at reading vibes. If I'm not 100% oh, this is a good vibe, I know something is up. And so my parents are divorced, so my mom was house shopping, and she went into this small town called Carbondale. Carbondale is a very small town in Kansas, and it's kind of like what you would imagine a hillbilly town would be like small redneck town. And there were a bunch of old buildings and houses and everything. And my mom, she really wanted to live over in Carbondale at the time. So I'm graduated at this point. I'm going to college. And she's like, "You want to come with me?" I'm like, "Sure, Mom. I will never pass up an opportunity to hang with you." So I drive to her house. We go to Carbondale. We're checking out this house. Immediately when we pull up, I'm getting bad vibes. I'm like, this isn't right. I feel so uneasy. Something is not right here. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just not with it today. So let's go and give it a chance. Walking into the house isn't really the problem. Well, somebody count how many times I yawn and please put it in the chat, in the comments. Wow. So I'm touring downstairs and I decide to branch away from my mom and the realtor lady. So, whoop, my bad. I go upstairs by myself. First of all, the stairs I went up, ain't no way my 6'4" brother would be able to fit going up. He would have to crouch. If I had to tilt my head a little bit to go up these stairs, ain't no way he's gonna fit there. I'm 5'10". My mom is shorter than us, so she had no problem going up, but I was like, "Mom, your kids aren't gonna be able to fit in this house." Anyway, I'm going upstairs and I'm feeling fine. But then I get to a room that has a door that also goes to the attic, right? I haven't been in many houses that actually have an attic. The house I grew up in did have an attic. And I opened up the door that goes to the attic and I was like, this is kind of creepy. I'm like, as soon as I opened that door, something just got creepier. It got creepier. And then I was like, okay, I've had enough of up here. I've seen up here. We're going downstairs. Like the basement downstairs. We all know basements are creepy, right? This one was also unfinished. There was stuff in the basement though. I don't know if it was from previous owners or what it was from, but there was stuff in the basement, but I just ignored it. I was like, I don't really care about that. We're just going to see if like this house is it. The back door did not open. So if you had to get out of the basement in an emergency and you couldn't go up the stairs, I don't know how you were going to be able to get out. But I like stepped 2 steps into the basement, looked around, checked out the door, and I was like, nope, I got to get out of here. I cannot be down here anymore. I have to get out of here. So I went to the car and my mom gets in the car and she said, "So what do you think?" I said, "Absolutely not, Mom. There's something with this house. You cannot live here. I'm sorry, but if you live here, I will never visit here and something bad will happen." And so she was very sad that I said that. So she just put it off and she didn't like really believe me. But then the next day we get a call from the realtor lady. Okay, this is going to be a little bit funny. Not really, but to me it will be. The realtor lady called and she said, "Hi, yeah, I just wanted to tell you that we were cleaning out the basement and we found jars contained with bones that are usually used for witchcraft rituals." I looked at my mom and I said, "See, I told you I said no for a reason." So my mom did not go back to that house. That's just, how did those end up there? What were people doing with those? What's going on? That's so scary. I don't even want to play around. Like, I don't want to play around with like rituals like that and Ouija boards. I will never, ever, 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 ever mess around with that stuff. That's just bad stuff waiting to happen, you know? Yeah. So that was right after I graduated high school and I'm in college. Well, you know, when you're in college and you're not a freshman anymore and you're not living in the dorms and you're living in houses off campus? Yeah. Yeah, I have a story about that. Now, around this time, I believe this is the time that Sam and Colby have turned into a paranormal channel. I love Sam and Colby. I've been watching them since they were on Vine, way before they were a paranormal channel. And they're also from Kansas, so yeehaw. And I'm getting more in tune with like paranormal world. I love watching their videos because I learn something new about the paranormal world every single time. Every single time I watch a video. And I would love, love, love to explore with them. See what I did there? Explore. That's their merch. I would love to go do that. I would love to try to investigate a haunted place. Safely, of course. Of course, I would always, do safety protocols. But yeah, I'm in college. I'm living off campus. The last house I lived in, it was a old house. Creaked. It was run down. It really needed to be remodeled. And I don't know how it passed safety inspection for people to live there because it was bad. It was bad. You could... yeah. You could probably fall through the porch. It was that bad. But I was living in the house, and I only lived there for about 8 months before I moved out. And I lived in the basement. So there's 2 rooms in the basement, and then you go upstairs, and then there's 2 rooms, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and a bathroom. And then you go out and up, and then there was a separate like living quarters that another person lived in. So I'm in the basement, and I would just be chilling, and I would hear people walk around, and I'm like, oh, someone's home. And me being the person that was, gets lonely after being alone for a while, peep the name, I went up, and I was like, oh, let's see who's here. Let's see who I could talk to, gossip with. So I went up. No one. Everyone's at work. No cars. No cars in the driveway. No cars behind the house. I go into each room, even their room. No one. I'm like, that is so weird. I literally just heard footsteps. So I was like, okay, that is weird. But that's not the only thing that happened at the house. Not just random noises, knocks, and footsteps. I also experienced a mimic for the first time. If you don't know what a mimic is, it is when a spirit, an entity, imitates something or someone in your life. And at the moment, you're not supposed to recognize them, like at the moment. And I accidentally did. So I am coming home from work. I would walk to my work because I was a server at the time, and the bar was across the street, so I would walk. So I'm coming back from work, and I'm opening the front door, and I hear, hey, Madison? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? Walking into the living room. Yeah, what's up? I look up, absolutely no one. And I'm like, oh, I could have swore I just heard my roommate. So I'm looking around. I'm like, where is she? I was like, she just said my name. Where is she? So I'm looking. I go to her room, nothing. Go to my other roommate's room, nothing. Go to my other roommate's room, nothing. I'm like, that is so weird. So I go to the back where we all park our cars. Not a single one of their cars is there. I texted them. I said, hey, where is everyone? They said, oh, yeah, all of us are at work. All of you at work? Who the hell just talked to me? Someone literally sounded like my roommate. And I responded to him. And I was going crazy. I was like, ain't no way that happened. Like, I'm going crazy. And again, feeling like I'm hallucinating. Feeling like I am missing something. I need sleep. So I try to put it out of my head, but I felt creeped out for a long while after that. after those experiences in that house, I really kind of just tuned everything out. This is when I went through a lot of heartbreak. I was very depressed. These are like the times that that stuff happened. I was under a lot of stress. So my third eye, which is how you see the spiritual world, was very closed. Okay, you need to be like very open for it to be open, and you have to like have a lot of love. That's another thing. Sam and Colby on their channel talk a lot about love, and the spirits even that they connect with talk about love. And you really do need a lot of love to actually be a part of communicating with that world. And it was just something I did not have, did not feel. And so it was very hard. Well, now I'm looking at it as that it was very hard to like experience stuff. So for a while, I did not have any other experiences. It wasn't until I started my last job back home as a lab tech, I saw the shadow man again. He roamed the hallways that I worked in. He would walk past windows. He would stand in doorways. He was there. He made it known that he was there. Just lingering. Not really doing anything, just lingering. And I would tell people, like, I see him, and they would not believe me. Like I said, it's okay if you don't believe. It is just very vulnerable for me to say something because people are going to call me crazy. Like, probably half the viewers here. And so that's when I realized that, like, this stuff is happening again. This stuff is happening again, and it's time to get real. So after a while, I decided to move to Hawaii, where I am. And I drove to California because I shipped my car from California to here. So I was in California for a week by myself, and then I flew here with my dog. And there was a there was a mishap with my plane ticket, my original plane ticket to Hawaii. I was supposed to be on a nonstop from LAX to Honolulu. And that all got messed up because unfortunately my airplane was supposed to be the airplane that had the door fly off. So we had to change my flights because the plane could not be used. So instead of flying from LAX to Hawaii, I flew from LAX to San Jose to Hawaii. And in San Jose, I had a 15-hour layover. 15 hours. It was a long night. So here we go. At the hotel that thankfully the airline paid for, I get this room. Hold on. And I get settled in, and I'm like, ooh, you know what? I need to like go find snacks, water, ice, stuff like that. So I'm walking around the hotel, and I'm on FaceTime with one of my friends, and I'm walking down this hall to find a vending machine, and I see a girl in front of me. You know, she's brown hair with jeans, a yellow shirt, and I think she was also wearing sandals as well. She's just walking, and I'm like trying to find where the vending machines on this floor are. And I'm like, where the hell are they? So I'm following this girl, and she rounds a corner, and it's the same corner I'm rounding. I round the corner, and she's nowhere to be found. This girl, there are no doors anywhere between the front of that hallway we just entered. She would have had to like sprint to go reach the closest door or nook. And I'm just like, I was on FaceTime with my friend, and I paused, and I was like, what? And my friend was like, what's wrong? And I was like, there was a girl in front of me, and she's not there. She's not there. I don't know where she went. She's not there. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe there wasn't a girl there. Or maybe she did go somewhere I just didn't see. So I'm thinking nothing of it. So I turn around and I go back. And I'm having no luck. So I just go back to my room. So I'm walking to my room. I'm going down the hallway where my room is. Oh my gosh. And I'm still on FaceTime with my friend. And I hear a discussion between people. It was like men having a discussion. And I'm like, okay. Someone, is having a discussion with someone outside their hotel room. I'm walking. The discussion is getting louder. It is getting louder and louder. And then all of a sudden, it just stops. And I'm looking around. And I'm like, where are these people? Like, where are these people? Where are these people in this hotel? So I'm looking at my friend and I'm like, hey, by chance, did you hear like people talking over the phone? Like, it sounded like maybe someone behind me or something. They were like, yeah, we heard like a full on conversation. Yeah, me too. But that's crazy because there's no one in the hallway. No one. And no doors open, no doors closed. It was a group of men that were talking. Nothing. No one. So I'm convinced that hotel in San Jose is haunted. It is. It is. So San Jose, the next morning I left. Thank goodness, because I don't know if I could have stayed there one more night. And then I came to Hawaii. Now, I thought I wouldn't come across anything paranormal here, but I have. Let's talk about it. I live in a retired military housing place. Like this, the place I live used to be housing for military people, but it got bought out. So now it's just like anyone can live here. And it's kind of like a duplex thing, but you know how duplexes are tall? This one's wide. So instead of going up, it goes out. And it is older. It does look a little bit run down. It could look better. Just saying. Just saying. But yes, I have experienced stuff here. I have been sitting on the couch, hearing people in the kitchen, like moving around. And I would go to the kitchen and look to see if one of my roommates was up or something. This usually happens at night, okay? No one. No one is in there. So I'm like, okay. Maybe I'm hearing things because the windows here are not sealed, so I could be hearing things. I'm like, all right. Hold on. I'm reading something I don't remember. I wrote, hear people rustling keys and walking around the building. What building? What building are you talking about, Madison? We're going to see if I remember that because I don't remember that. All right, this next one, though. This next one is another point in my paranormal career that I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? I'm sitting on the couch getting ready for bed. Or I'm not sitting on the couch getting ready for bed, but I'm sitting on the couch about to go get ready for bed. So I'm putting stuff away and cleaning up, doing my nightly routine. River is just chilling on the couch. She's just chilling on the couch, you know? I let her out to go potty and she comes back in. I'm like, all right. So I'm putting the last few things away and then I'm like, all right, River, let's go night-night. She's on the couch, right? Balled up. And I'm like, all right, River, time for night-night. Let's go. And she didn't get up from the couch. And I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like, River, come on. So I go back. River's coming out of my room. She's not on the couch. So I go back. I look at the couch. And I'm like, what was there? It was River. But River's not there. River's coming out of my room. I experienced another mimic. And those things are really freaky, like really scary. They don't make sense. Like, how was River full on? I saw her, like, physical body there, but she came from over there. It's stuff that just doesn't make sense. And so, to talk about this, I have actually been blessed. I should not have stopped my sentence there. I have been blessed to know, she called it a sound healer. She calls herself a sound healer. And I quote, it says, "Well, I say sound healer, but that doesn't cover what I'm doing. It's a general term because most people don't understand about past lives and soul retrieval, etc. I know this girl through my friend, and she really has an insight on the paranormal world. So I talked to her about this, and I like ask her, hey, what does this mean? What does this mean? Can you like help me sense?" She helps like read my energy and like everything that comes with it. And I'm telling her about all of my experiences. She's giving me feedback, like stuff I can do to keep myself safe, because when you have such a connection to the spiritual world, you're going to have more and more spirits come to you for help. And I just don't know what to do. And you're going to hear about an experience soon. But my last session that I had with my sound healer about just, balancing energy, getting another reading on like where I'm at in my process of opening my third eye all the way, because my third eye is like almost open. It's almost popped open. She, tells me a lot of things. And last session, she said, your third eye has a gold ring around it. You're going to have more and more spirits, things come to you, and you're going to have to question them. Like, are they good or are they bad? Because they will come to you acting all good, but won't be. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That was 2 months ago, right? My last session was 2 months ago. That's when she told me that. And I was like, okay, I have time to like figure this out. Wrong. No, honey, no. You don't have time to figure it out. You know why? Because here's an experience that happened 3 nights ago. I'm sitting on the couch at my friend's house, right? We just did a day of exploring the island. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm a little tired, but not enough to like fall asleep, right? I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting on a couch that's against a wall that goes to the other side of a duplex. So on the other side of the wall, behind the couch, is the other house. I'm sitting there, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm looking at the wall, right? I'm like, what is on something is coming from the wall. There is a sound coming from the wall. It sounds like a humming sound, but also sounds like an air vent. And I'm looking around. I'm like, there's not an air vent here. What am I hearing? And at this point, I'm looking around so much, my friend notices, and they go, what are you doing? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just hear a weird sound only from my left ear when it faces the wall. They're like, oh. I'm like, maybe I got messed up from elevation or something. I don't know. Altitude. I don't know. Did I just use the wrong words? Probably. Anyway. So then we get back to watching the movie. And I can't stop thinking about this sound. I'm like, my stomach just grumbled. There's something about this sound. I don't know what it is, but it's in the back of my mind. It's there. It's lingering. And so I go back to the movie, and I'm trying to pay attention. We're watching Blue Beetle, by the way. If you haven't seen that movie, it's actually pretty good. And I don't remember this, but I fell asleep. I don't remember falling asleep. So in my dream, I haven't been able to remember a dream in like the past couple months, and this is the first dream I remember. In the dream, I feel like I'm in real life. Like, I feel like I'm walking around. The setting is still the same. Like, I'm in their house. And then I find something on the floor and I look at it. I'm like, what is that? And as I'm looking at it, all of a sudden, it attacks me. Like, it jumps at me. And my arms and legs go flying. I gasp and I become so scared and confused. I look at my friend and I'm embarrassed because I didn't know I fell asleep, and I just gasped and like flew my limbs everywhere. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I guess I fell asleep and I had just a weird dream. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're laughing about it because, that's funny. But I can't stop thinking about it. And after I woke up, I just got a bad vibe. I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. So, I didn't drive to my friend's house because we explored the island all day carpooling. So my friend took me back home, and on their way back, they were like, yeah, I didn't want to tell you this, but 4 years ago, on the other side of the duplex, a family was murdered. And I'm thinking, what? What? Are you kidding me? That's what? So I immediately tell my sound healer friend, and I tell them the story, exactly what happened, like every instance down to a T, right? I have to let them know. And she texts back. She tells me, do not go there again. The evil energy is still there, and it attacks you in your dream state. It takes your energy from you in your dream state and it attacks you. And so she told me that she had a clairvoyant friend. If you don't know what clairvoyant is, I have the definition here. It is a person who claims to have a supernatural ability to perceive events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. So basically, this girl is like a medium, right? She's like a medium type girl. So she was like, this family that got murdered has attached to you and has discovered that you have special abilities and is trying to get your attention. And I'm like, whoa, they could have like come at me at a subtler way. I don't need to be scared about to poop my pants. They could have been nicer about it. So me being this new, I don't want to say medium, I also don't want to say clairvoyant either, this new spiritually intelligent person into the spiritual world, that made no sense. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what is good, what is bad, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. It's still stuff I'm trying to understand. So, talking to the clairvoyant girl, she said that the humming was the energy field. That was high energy coming in, and that is how they like connected with me. Is the humming. The humming I heard is them channeling me, and they attacked me in my dream to get my attention to help them. And the clairvoyant person was able to go through me to contact this family that was attached to me. And she just said that the family knows they're dead. Even though it was recent, the family knows they're dead. And they're trying to cross over but don't know how and are very afraid of being separated from each other. And I was like, I feel so bad. I don't know how to help them. I would help them. I would, but I don't know how. And so the clairvoyant girl handled everything, and I was very scared to fall asleep the night after it happened. And I told her about it. I said, I was so scared to fall asleep because every time I closed my eyes, I could see and feel people walking around me. and I felt so uncomfortable. And she said that that same night she had a difficult time with the family. And it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It really does. But update. The family has since crossed over, and my energy is being balanced again, and I am going to, get grounded again. So, not grounded like the little kid grounded, but, you know, one with the universe again. And that experience was very scary. Knowing that, like, I had something come to me for help and I couldn't help them, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm actually kind of excited to, like, learn about it. I would love to learn more. This is why I want to be on Sam and Colby and experience ghost hunting with them, because they're not like ghost hunters or ghost adventures, but I feel like they're very authentic in ghost hunting, and they experience a lot of real stuff, and that is something I want to be a part of. So Sam and Colby, if you want to collab, let me know. And just because all of that has happened, it doesn't mean stuff has stopped. Like, I still see the shadow man every now and then. The other week, maybe a month ago, I saw my roommate's aura, right? The little light that's around a person. That is crazy. It was green. I was just sitting at the table. We were eating dinner, I believe. And I was just looking at her while she was talking. And all of a sudden, it just got really green around her. And I'm like, that is so weird. Why am I seeing a green light around her? So I didn't tell her about it. I was nonchalant about it. I Googled, like, what does a green aura mean? And it described her personally. It was basically about, like, how you're compassionate and you love caring for others, which makes sense because she's a mom and she's a nurse. Her love language is gift giving. That makes complete sense. So I told her about it, and it was very cool to, like, see that, interaction with her. That's not the word I'm trying to look for. I'm too distraught. I can't think of anything. But yeah. Another thing that is kind of paranormal and spiritual, but I wouldn't exactly put it under the paranormal thing, is that I have dreams that come true. I will have dreams, dream them. Oh my God. I will have dreams, have them. And soon after, they come true exactly the way they were. Like, one time I fell asleep on the couch with my roommate and we just watched Saltburn. It was her first time watching Saltburn. It was my second time watching Saltburn. And again, I did not know I fell asleep. And so I was sleeping and I was watching, and the end scene, he's, going around the house listening to, what is it, Murder on the Dance Floor or something like that. Watching the end credit scene, my roommate stops it and we're talking about it. And then I wake up and the scene of him walking around to Murder on the Dance Floor is playing. And I'm thinking, I already saw this. We already ended the movie. Well, guess what? The end credits go, my roommate pauses it, and we have a conversation. And the exact conversation that happened in my dream. And I didn't want to change it because I was like, maybe that's like how it's supposed to go. And I did not. I don't think I told my roommate about that either. But I just let it play out. But we had the same exact conversation in person that I had in my dream. That was crazy. That was, like, mind blowing. Another dream is one of my friends. We're not friends anymore, but I saw how our friendship ended. And I remember sitting there And then all of a sudden, like we were watching a movie or something, and then all of a sudden they just got up and they left. And I said, "Where are you going?" And they said, "I'm not coming back." And then they left. That sounds really sad. Oh my God, I should not have shared that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that's kind of how we stopped being friends. Just no more communication from their end, and yeah, we're not friends anymore, which is fine. But yeah, no hate to them. No hate. Maybe a little, but no hate. The last dream that came true was I had this friend who was in school, and I am dreaming, it's nighttime. I'm dreaming like one does. And I see them writing a letter at 2 a.m. And in my dream, 2 a.m., 2 a.m., 2 a.m. kept like screaming in my dream, 2 a.m., 2 a.m. And I'm like, what the hell? So I actually see that friend the next day, and they're like, man, I am so tired. And I'm like, why? Why are you so tired? They were like, sorry for the yawn. They said, oh, I was up at 2 a.m. doing homework. I said, no way. I said, where were you? They were like, at my desk in my room. I said, I saw you. I saw you writing or doing your homework at 2 a.m. at your desk in your room. And they thought I was joking. They think I'm crazy. I promise I'm not. I did see them. And that is super crazy. Those are some things that I just don't make sense. Like, how did I know that that was going to happen before it happened? That's crazy. The paranormal world is such a interesting world that we don't really know that much about because it's very hard to get information. But what I've learned so far is that you need to have love in this world. Not like love yourself, love the people around you, love life, because life or love is what grounds you, really. And that's something I think we all need to work on, especially the loving yourself part. But I'm excited to learn about this, navigating the paranormal world, and I will keep you guys updated for sure. Those are all the experiences I have now. If more pop up, I may just keep them in my notes, and then once a couple pop up, have another podcast, Paranormal Part 2, maybe. But this one was fun. I enjoy it. I love paranormal stuff. I love ghost hunting. I love learning about it. I love learning about how you can be a part of it. I never thought I would actually be a part of it. I never thought I would be this medium clairvoyant type girl. I wouldn't say I'm a medium because I can't actually like communicate with them. I see things, hear things. Sometimes, try to talk, but it's very hard. And yeah. So that is it for this paranormal podcast. I hope you open your mind to this world and learn a little bit more about it. And I hope I was able to provide some information that help you learn a little bit more, because it's very interesting. You have psychic ability. You just have to be in tune with it to use it or to experience it. And I think that's awesome that we're all alike in that way. So comment down below if you have paranormal experiences, or comment down below if you'd like a part 2 if I get enough experiences. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications so you can know when I post. I post every Tuesday and Friday. Tuesdays are my regular fun YouTube videos, and Fridays are my podcast. So tune in next week for the podcast. I don't know what topic I'm doing, but I'm excited because social media is exciting, and being able to talk to a camera is exciting. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys are drinking your water. I hope you guys are being safe out there. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on Extroverted Introvert Experience. Again, I'm your host. You can follow me on my socials, which will be listed here. I'm not going to point anywhere because I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it. But tune in next time. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, night, weekend. Yeah. It's time we end this. Ooh. Ooh. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know.